Welcome to Ilivision.
Theseus, hero or scumbag? Spoiler, it's scumbag. Following our 2 episodes on Ariadne, who was so brutally deserted on the islands of Naxos by Theseus, it is only right for us to explore the culprit more thoroughly and set the record straight by listing the numerous atrocities committed by this individual and providing a new perspective on this so-called hero. As we do so, it might be worth noting that Theseus may not be solely myth, but a real Athenian king from approximately 1200 BCE. Yep, Theseus is on a list of Athenian kings and appears immediately after Aegeus, his mortal father from whom he inherited the throne. Though he liked people to believe that he was also the son of Poseidon to enhance his narrative. According to Plutarch, the Athenians believed that he was an actual historical figure, and even kept the ship that he used on his return from Crete after killing the Minotaur. As the wood rotted over the centuries, the rotten planks were replaced, giving rise to the philosophical question whether it was the same ship at all, once all of the original ship had been replaced. This debate is referred to as the Ship of Theseus. Whether any of these stories, positive or negative, attributed to Theseus are real or not, is for you to decide. Over the ages, Theseus's heroic exploits have been molded, adapted for kids, cleaned up, Disneyfied if you wish, which is understandable. However, to be left with one side of a story into adulthood leaves us intellectually unfulfilled and with an inaccurate perception of Theseus as a hero. Even Plato, like Xenophanes before him, was shocked at the glorification of characters such as Theseus, and actually mentions Theseus by name. Theseus did accomplish some feats, dispatching several equally horrible individuals in his so-called 6 labours, much like Heracles' 12 labours, again his narrative being steered to liken him to Heracles. During these labours, he eliminated some very violent men, including Periphetes, who beat men to death with a club, Sinis, who would tie his victims to 2 bent-over pine trees, which would then rip them apart or fling them some distance. Either way, death was the result. There was the terrible Procrustes, who had 2 beds, one long and one short, so none of his victims would fit. Procrustes would invite travellers in and intentionally give them the wrong bed. If it was too long, he would cut them down to size by cutting off their feet, and if the bed was too short, he would stretch them to fit, giving him the appropriate name of the stretcher. Theseus eliminated Procrustes by giving him some of his own medicine, cutting off his legs and head. Of course, as is well known, Theseus also killed the Minotaur. Seems he was anti-bovine, as he also killed the Minotaur's father, the Marathonian bull. Oh, and he killed a large pig. Yay. As Scumbag, let's explore this so-called hero. Everyone will know of the Ariadne story and how Theseus brutally abandoned her. Check out our 2 episodes on Ariadne, including a reading of her heartbreaking letter to Theseus after his betrayal, and the second on how the universe made things right, very right. But callously abandoned her he did, and she wasn't his only female victim. Theseus abducted Hippolyta, also known as Antiope. Either way, she was the sister of the Queen of the Amazons, and he so successfully manipulated her that she fought alongside him against the Amazons when they came to rescue her. In the ensuing battle, she died. His selfish and entitled misogynistic actions led to her death. According to Ovid, it was actually Theseus who killed Hippolyta. His second wife was Phaedra, who was none other than the sister of Ariadne. Yeah, the sister of the same Ariadne that he abandoned on a beach in Naxos. Phaedra fell in love with the son that Theseus had with the Amazon warrior Hippolyta, This son, Hippolytus, rejected her, resulting in her committing suicide, and as a result, Theseus killing his son Hippolytus. How can we blame this on Theseus? Well, it is said that Theseus was having an affair with a male lover, Pirithous, and, as Ovid states, with whom he spent much of his time, loving him more than he loves Phaedra and Hippolytus. So again, the origin of their demise lies with Theseus. In Ovid's Heroides, Phaedra states that Theseus killed her brother, the Minotaur, abandoned her helpless sister Ariadne with wild beasts, and stabbed and killed Hippolytus's mother, Hippolyta. With regards the abandonment of Ariadne, one version and opinion that is trotted out is that Theseus deserted her because the god Dionysus wanted her for himself, and that whilst Theseus was brave and feared no man or monster, he dared not oppose a god. Well, if this is true, then why would he abduct a young girl, a daughter of the king of the gods, Zeus himself? This young girl was Helen. Yup, the same Helen who went with Paris to Troy, which set in motion the Trojan War as described in the Iliad. Luckily, Helen was rescued by her brothers, the Dioscuri, before any harm came to her. Helen was the daughter of Leda and Zeus, whom Zeus seduced by transforming into a swan. Yeah, Zeus, yet another serial abuser, but also a god of great vengeance. It seems like Theseus wasn't afraid of gods at all. The argument that he left Ariadne because of the god Dionysus is inconsistent and falls flat, very flat. So, the result of all his atrocious actions? One woman abandoned in the wild, a young girl abducted, 2 wives dead, a son dead, and of course, his father dead when he forgot to change the colour of his sails on his way back from Crete. All dead because of Theseus. No wonder Plato refers to Theseus in the Republic, stating that we should not allow the story of these dreadful abuses by Theseus to be told by poets. These heroes and so-called sons of gods should not be the source of evil, and then glorified. Importantly, Plato warns these stories are positively harmful for those that hear them, as individuals will be more inclined to abusive behavior if the gods and heroes that they worship are themselves engaging in abusive acts. Plato goes on to state, we must stop these stories before they breed in our young men an undue tolerance for wickedness. These words by Plato are still, of course, relevant today. Thankfully, as we have seen due to the Me Too movement and since, no matter what token good one might have done, if guilty, you cannot and will not escape historic abuse. The universe, karma, will catch up to you. Justice will prevail. Theseus certainly got his justice. After enjoying some popularity as King of Athens, the Athenians started to rebel, resulting in Theseus having to relinquish his throne and leave Athens. He sought refuge on the island of Skyros, but the king there thought that Theseus might want to overthrow him and take his kingdom. So, to prevent this possibility, he took Theseus to a cliff and pushed him off of it to his death. Karma. Just a shame it wasn't done sooner. Check out our Ariadne episodes to complete the trilogy.